oh my.
I'm free.
I don't believe it!
You stupid boy.
You stupid little plonker, Rodney.
Say any of these catchphrases to your average Brit and they'll smile instantly, knowing what you mean. Sitcoms reflected everyday life and made the mundane entertaining. Every town market had a Del Boy, every seafront B&B had a Basil Fawlty, every department store had a Mrs. Slocum, and every family had an Alf Garnett. Britain's sitcom production line was unstoppable, and we loved it. Characters became icons, sets became instantly iconic, theme tunes were up there with the latest Top of the Pops hits. But then, by the 2000s, the classic sitcom had started to disappear, being replaced by more politically correct and polished series. Let's have a look at what made sitcoms so good and why they will never die. As far back as I can remember, sitcoms have always played a part in my life.
Steward. Yes, sir.
Not because I understood them, not because I always laughed, but because my family did. And when everyone in the room is laughing together, you feel something happening. Warmth, connection, belonging. Back then, Britain was a 3-channel country. No streaming, no catch-up, no rewinds. Whatever was on, that's what the nation watched together. And that mattered more than we realised at the time. Some of the earliest sitcoms I remember were already fairly old by the time I started watching them. I didn't know how long they'd been running. I didn't know if they were popular or not. I didn't know their cultural importance. I just knew they made my parents laugh, my nans laugh, and my cousins laugh. I remember my dad telling me about an episode of Steptoe and Son, the old man sitting in a tin bath in the living room eating pickled onions. He watched it on a black and white television as it was broadcast for the first time on BBC. He remembers his dad and sisters laughing hysterically. It's a memory that lasted for decades. Back then, once something aired, you assumed it was gone forever. And yet, decades later, those moments still lived on. By the time the 80s arrived, sitcoms hadn't faded. They'd improved.
Don't be a plonker all your life, Rodney.
New shows replaced old ones, and suddenly I was able to watch from the beginning. Ever-decreasing circles, Hi-de-Hi, Only Fools and Horses. Every episode mattered. If you missed one, that was it. Saturday night meant one thing. Everyone in the living room. A bar of chocolate, bag of crisps, a glass of freshly carbonated SodaStream Coke, and laughter. The real kind. You'd laugh until your stomach hurt, then feel genuinely sad when the credits rolled, because you had to wait. A week. Sometimes a year, if it was the end of a series. Then, by the mid-80s, came a gift from the gods, the video cassette recorder. Weighing as much as a small car and looking like something out of a sci-fi movie, this box sat on the floor, and with one click, magic. All our favourite shows could be captured on tape. It was revolutionary. For the first time, comedy could be revisited, rewound, shared again. Comedy isn't just about jokes, it's about who you laugh with. It's sharing the experience and creating instant memories. One Sunday night, my parents were out. One of the greatest comedies of all time, Only Fools and Horses, was about to air the next episode, Danger UXD. I watched it on my own and instantly knew this was special. I'd never laughed as hard. The neighbours probably thought I was insane. When my parents got home, I couldn't wait to watch it again with them, as I knew this was an instant classic. When the funniest moment came, it was a joy to witness. I've never seen my parents laugh like that before. Tears, gasping, unable to breathe, absolute joy. That's what real comedy does. It creates instant memories, like hearing a favourite song. You're instantly transported back in time and can almost smell the nostalgia. It was brilliant writing by the great John Sullivan, a man who could bring millions of people together and share the greatest gift of all, laughter. Great sitcoms do something rare. You can watch them again and again and again, and they still work. They never get boring. They age like a fine wine. The characters feel real, even when they're exaggerated, because we know people like them. At work, down the pub, in the market, on the bus. That's why they pass through generations. Grandparents, parents, children, all laughing at the same scenes, decades apart. That doesn't happen accidentally. Then something changed. As we entered the 2000s, the great sitcom run ended, and the replacements felt different. Comedy became careful, filtered, polished smooth. Writers weren't asking, "Is this funny?" They were asking, "Will this upset someone?" And that changes everything. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You cannot write timeless comedy while constantly worrying about offence. Comedy exaggerates, observes flaws, holds up a mirror. The best sitcoms are just as good as the best movies. Great writers, great actors, great directors. That's the point. That's why sitcoms are so personally loved. They are me and you, your parents, your neighbours, your friends. And often, the people who are supposedly offended aren't. They're laughing too, because they understand the joke. Yes, there are exceptions. Some writers still take risks. Ricky Gervais, Peter Kay, Ruth Jones, and James Corden. And when they do, you feel it immediately. The laughter is genuine again. But notice something. Those shows don't last long. They arrive, they shine, they're gone. Sadly, this generation may never get to watch a brand new sitcom grow into a timeless classic. That era has passed. But they still have ours. Decades of brilliant writing, perfect characters, moments that still make people laugh. And as long as people keep laughing, great comedy never truly dies.